Hey everyone. So this video stems from the developer interview that they had last week. Recently, they've been talking more about the perception versus the reality of how certain characters are performing. And by reality, I mean their stats. There was one comment in particular where they kind of talked about Genji and how he's performing, and they essentially said that he's performing much better than what people think. So it got me thinking, especially about the comments they made about Mercy I think about a month ago, where I think there was somebody in like a forum or a blog post, or I don't think it was Twitter, but he was like, I don't see many Mercies, but when I do see a Mercy, they're just like really good. Like, do you guys think that there's a problem with X, Y, and Z? And then I forgot who the person who was responding to the message. But so the only people he would see playing Mercy like really well were people who only played Mercies. And then the other guy, Alec Dawson, responded with saying that they essentially look at the win rate and the pick rate by rank or something, and to kind of determine what needs a buff or what needs a nerf. Now, granted, this is an old post, and it took me a while to finally do this video because I did see it back then. I was like, that's kind of a weird thing for somebody to say, but I kind of want to focus more on the Genji aspect. However, this example I'm giving is before Mercy was considered a top pick. However, I always thought she was a top pick right behind Anna before they were, ever considered to be A rank. Anyways, this video isn't about Mercy. like I said earlier, it's that interaction for me was just an example of what I really want to talk about, and that's Blizzard's mentality in buffing and nerfing certain characters. So like I've said way back in May 2022, when I did my first big Overwatch video called Doomfist Sucks in Overwatch 2, I didn't think that the developers even played the game. And I said this back in May. I was like, these people aren't playing the game. I said this in May 2022, specifically about Overwatch 2. And I even said that I don't believe the game's gonna be ready in October, because there's so many weird things I spotted. And anyways, when fixing characters, they consistently entirely miss the reasons underlying why some characters need a buff or a nerf. They can't accurately pinpoint the things that are causing certain things to happen. Like we saw this with the first Doomfist buff, and especially with the last several soldier nerfs. So like the title of this video, I want to look into the concept. Well, before I get into everything, I want to kind of get into the concept of what an informal fallacy is. I guess another way to put it might be the mistake of correlation equals causation, or survivorship bias. And I think survivorship bias might actually be the better word, especially with the examples I'm about to give. So what it is essentially them collecting data from certain key points or certain, let's say, objects that have reached a certain threshold, and kind of taking the data from those who already kind of passed the bar and making conclusions off of that, while instead of looking at the ones that did not reach a certain bar and kind of seeing why they failed. There's a few examples on that. We really go into deep into this subject in engineering school, but I'm gonna give some examples. So another way to kind of put this in English is, let's say there's a car accident, right? And you say that the car accident wasn't that dangerous because everybody involved survived, only because you don't know that some people died. So for you, the people who are alive are saying, yeah, we're survived, we're fine, everything's okay. So you're thinking, okay, this is good. You don't know that some people died, so you don't actually understand kind of the danger of this, because the people who are dead can't give their accounts of kind of what happened and that they're dead. Like, their voice would never be part of the conversation, which leads to like a severe bias of the conversation. You have to be able to get information from the things that have failed instead of just the things that have survived, because there's a lot of information in the ones that have failed. Because this can lead to an overly optimistic belief, because multiple failures are overlooked, such as when companies that no longer exist are excluded from analysis of financial performance. It can also lead to the false belief that the success in a group have some special property rather than just coincidence, similar to, again, like I said earlier, the belief that correlation proves causality. So let's relate this back to Overwatch. When a hero is only played by people who do nothing but play that one character and they have a decent win rate, it's a sign that there is a different and much bigger problem happening. It means that the hero is so weak that only specialists can get any real value from them because they're too hard-headed and stubborn to play other characters. And the best example for this is literally me on Doomfist. Back when he was literally the worst character in the game in Overwatch 2, I never stopped playing him. In comp or quick play, like, you know how often I've been yelled at by my teammates to switch before the game started, or had people literally tell me they're gonna throw because I won't switch off of Doomfist? Like, I didn't care. Eventually, I just had so much practice with him, I could deal with things that would normally kill a Doomfist because he was literally the only thing that I the only thing that I knew. Like, I just got really good at him. And this is by choice. You guys seen my other gameplay videos. I can play, I think, most tanks now, but Doomfist was just everything for me. But it's not just hard-headedness. Like, during that time, I assume others who have done the same thing, we essentially kind of determined that because of the amount of time we have sunk into this particular character, this particularly off-meta character, playing anything else would just be throwing. Because we've essentially just gotten more effective with this one character than we would have gotten with, you know, all other more viable matchups. And because we spent so much time with that one character, we essentially kind of put all of our stat points into this one character, which would be better than like the average character is with, you know, multiple more meta, more viable characters. We're essentially just like so focused into this one character. We've essentially become the best at our rank at that character. Another thing to factor in with this is this would increase our win rates because our concentration on how good we are with this character, and the small amount of us who are this hard-headed enough to kind of play this to do this one trick, you know, game, our win rate is going to be inflated. Because in comparison, people who play, you know, multiple characters that are much more meta, there's a lot more people like that. So there's just a much bigger range of, you know, data to kind of put in, win rates, loss rates. So it's kind of probably more even. Well, it is more even. While, you know, for like the example I gave for Doomfist, those of us who stuck to it, our win rate was probably, you know, higher. And I guess Doomfist isn't that good of an example, but because this isn't what happened with Doomfist, but for somebody like me who put all his stat points into Doomfist, when I would play Doomfist while everybody was yelling at me, I would win because that's all I really knew. So with that being said, Blizzard is essentially completely ignoring most people not playing with the off-meta characters because they are just not viable. They're only looking at the people who are so stubborn that they still play the off-meta characters, which, because of how it works, they are the best players of the meta in their certain ranks. Hey everyone, I'd like to interrupt this video to remind you to like and leave a comment. It's the best thing you can do to a video so that YouTube increases its reach, and I'd really like to keep growing this community, especially since we have so many good discussions and debates in the comment sections, and I do read and try to reply to every single comment. So please like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you like it. But yeah, for the algorithm, please like and comment. So here's a problem with not realizing that this is what you're doing when you're trying to fix a problem. Essentially, when you are only looking at the best of the best players at every rank, the problem is that it causes it to make weak characters seem very powerful, like very powerful enough for Blizzard to want to nerf them. So to summarize this sentence, it essentially makes Blizzard nerf weak characters. So all these characters and the counterplays specific to these characters will now be hampered down due to Blizzard thinking that whatever they're supposed to do is too easy to perform and too strong. That's how you end up with situations like Roadhog being too strong. They kept nerfing everyone that could counter him or buffing the characters that countered the characters that countered him. And then it became this entire mix of just everybody who could do something to him was essentially just kind of turned off. It's a mix of characters like Sombra or the interaction of Ana and Kiriko. And here's a better example. Let's say, for example, Genji sucks now. The people playing Genji are really good at him, so Blizzard nerfs him. Because he's nerfed, Ana is much more prevalent now. Because Ana is much more prevalent, Doomfist is, getting slipped and like naded every 2 seconds. So because the best Genjis are still doing well because everybody else has stopped playing Genji, Blizzard nerfs him again because they're only looking at the data of the best Genjis who kind of stuck to Genji. So they nerf Genji again, making the able to run wild even more. And of course they would nerf the shitty Genji. The statistics they see are telling them that he's powerful as fuck and always winning because only the best people are playing him. It leaves out the fact that there are so few people who actually stuck with him, and those players are the best of the best Genjis. And to them, picking anything else that is not Genji would be a throw pick. So this small group of players got really good with him, so the win rate percentage is also inflated. Now, maybe in this example, Ana is actually pretty balanced, but Blizzard just ruined the character that keeps her grounded, so maybe Blizzard nerfs her. Like, it just makes a chaotic state of balance for the whole game for several characters at a time. And the problem with Blizzard is, like, not only are they very slow at balancing these characters, they're also really bad at it. So it just becomes a mess. So yeah, I hope you get what I'm saying. I hope it wasn't too complicated. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and don't forget, I love you.